What do you call a weatherman who lives on the same street as Elmo? A Sesame meteorologist. Welcome to the stream. Happy Monday, my friends. This is what's happening tonight. This is what we're doing. Welcome to our annual back to school stream. Bunch of edutainment games. We're gonna play Sesame Street on Game Boy Color. I hope. I don't know. I was letting this idle for a while I was getting ready, and it crashed. So I hope these games actually work. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how it goes. But welcome in, my friends. We've got Cows Are Important first in chat tonight. Welcome in, Cows. I'm ready for some learning. Great to have you here. I guess this means you're back from your travels. Hopefully everything went smoothly for you in regard to that. Chozo Brain, welcome in, my friend. Great to have you here as always. And Dead Zergling. Oh no. My toupee is burning. Street. I'm afraid I don't get it. But welcome in nonetheless. Loose and Jelly, welcome in, of course. And thank you for the resub for the 27 months. It's my almost 1 year anniversary, Jelly says. That's right. 27 months. That's almost a year. Mile Hyrule, welcome in. Will the joke be good? Sparrow, welcome in. Yes. Liking the old school Frownie look. In regard to my my lavender shirt. Thank you for that. I'll be the judge on that. Muppet Man, welcome in. What an appropriate night to be here. I hope you've been doing well, and thank you for joining us again. I thought it would be Forecast Me Elmo, Zergling says. Villarike, welcome in. Great to see you. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to Edutainment Night. Stack Cat, welcome in. Thank you for the wheel. We'll do that in just a moment. Cal says, yes, got back this morning. I'm here, but apparently my brain isn't. I need these education games. We'll see. We'll see if they are. We'll see if they turn out to be good for us. I'm enjoying my amazing herb and ready to watch a Frownie saga. We are here for this, StatCat says. Wheel of Learning. No remixes for this one, I'm afraid, Sparrow says. So, we played a couple Sesame Street games before on the NES, and these, I don't think, are made by the same company. At the beginning, I think it said New Kid Co., who, if I remember correctly, are the villains responsible for some of those E.T. games on the Game Boy Color. So, that's not good. But there's a piece of music, not the Sesame Street theme. Oh no, this is what happened before. Look, I think it crashed. I hope that that's not a common occurrence. I hope that's just because I let it idle. Yeah, it's gone. None of the buttons do anything. Alright, we'll reset it in just a moment. We've got to do the wheel. This game is going to be amazing. I hope so. I hope so. The thing is, you can't improve on perfection, Sparrow says. Crashes on the title screen. I know. That's fine, Zergling says. I don't even have a toupee. Just thought it was more interesting than 31st or such. Fair enough. Hey, we just got a new follow. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well tonight. I appreciate you coming on board with us. Alright, I think we're caught up. Says a lot when the game can't even handle the title screen. Oh my goodness. Alright, we gotta spin this wheel real quick. And I'll sample whatever it lands on. Anything but sunflower seeds, I'm happy with. Brandon Ferraro, welcome in. Appreciated. Hope you're doing well. Things are getting off to an alright start. Aside from the game crashing, spirits are high, hopes are high. This wheel is going to determine how I'm doing now, though. Hey, Loyal, welcome in. Loyal to Soil is here. Stoked to see everyone. How's the night been treating you? We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Nothing new on the wheel tonight. Nothing new, Jelly. I talked about it before we spin. Let me see if I can reach it. This is not an item for the wheel. I don't know when we're gonna do this. I will let you know in the Discord ahead of time. Whenever it's gonna happen, but it's probably gonna be a while. It's going to be sitting here and taunting me. I have a ghost pepper soda pop. When my family came to visit last week, we spent a good portion of the week bouncing around Michigan. I found this over there. Ghost pepper soda. It says, warning. This soda is very hot. Your mouth may catch fire. Drink at your own risk. So I'm not looking forward to that. Because it's a soda, and because like the clock starts ticking when I open it, and it's gonna go flat, I've kind of got to enjoy it all at once. So that's why it doesn't go on the wheel like everything else. I'm just going to have to pick a night that feels right, and we're just going to have to dive in. I mean, I imagine I'm probably not going to be able to endure more than like a single drink of it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's going to sit here and torment me for a while. So it might be a little while before we actually get around to it. Let's spin the wheel. That should be a hot sauce. What is it? Purple is fiery habanero sauce. That is very manageable. That's the gold label. Marie Sharp's habanero pepper sauce. Fiery hot variety. Gold label. Let's go. Hot soda is a good find. Oh yeah, I didn't even notice it. We found it in a candy store, and I didn't even see it. Jelly's the one that found it and pointed it out to me. So I have Jelly to thank / blame when it comes to suffering through that soda. Good job, Jelly, Cow says. Alright, try and give a very generous pour onto my cracker here. Oh. Yeah, it's been a while since I've had that. Oh. Oh, it's making my stomach a little upset. Maybe not a good night for hot sauces. The thing is, it's so misleading because it's cool down here in the basement, so the sauces stay like very cool, like almost refrigerator cool, even if I've had them down here for a while. And because of that, like at first, for just a moment, it seems very refreshing, and then it just turns into punishment. Hey, Game and Fit, welcome in. Pleasure to have you here. Better than the sunflower seeds made with real sun. They are. All right, let me get this game restarted, and then I'll get my big head out of the way here. So let's dive into this. We've played Sesame Street 1, 2, 3 on the NES. See, there they are, new Kid Co. I think they made the ET games, if I remember right. I know I've seen that logo on the stream. I don't know if this is going to be just the same game repackaged. Oop, Jelly is approaching with some coffee. One moment. Thank you, Jelly, for the coffee. Apparently, I got some new coffee filters, and apparently they filter very, very slowly compared to the old ones. So, my coffee may taste unfamiliar tonight. Let's listen to this piece of music here. This music... Ooh, it's staticky. This music's in the NES games. It's in one of them. I think it's in the awful... that haunted Ferris wheel game. Big Bird's like letter wheel or whatever. It's a very disturbing game on the NES. I think it's haunted. So I think this is just count the number of stars too. And it's gonna fill in the scenery for us, okay? I think I can handle this. Oh my goodness, that's so many. What is that? 9? That's the maximum number. I think there was a Mario one on the NES or a Super NES. There's a couple Mario edutainment games. We played a handful of them on the stream before. Last year we played Super Mario's Fun with Numbers and Fun with Letters and preschool game. So we've done a few of them. They're pretty terrible. This will be a good contrast to the Resident Evil 4 remake. Nothing like blasting heads off of zombies while learning my ABCs, Game and Fit says. Loyal says, "Ah, that's Elmo. He owes me money. I've been looking all over for Sesame Street. Can anyone tell me how to get there?" It's like Walk It Out, the music. It's so staticky. I don't know if you can hear the static on your end. I don't think this song is quite so staticky on the NES. Unlocking the scenery. Ah. Oh, here we go. Is that it? Our expertise in counting has successfully restored Sesame Street. Very good. Here we go. The moon looks genuinely concerned. We're already a quarter of the way through this game. That is ominous sounding. Alright, so find the number on the TV. Fair enough. I mean, that seems like I did something wrong. This is too difficult. Play something easier. Take a left at Albuquerque. I don't know why I looked at all my options. Very good. Victory. Hey. Am I supposed to do something? Two celebratory rockets. Oh, maybe I spoiled it. Maybe we're not supposed to know it says very good until the rockets move out of the way. You're on pace for an Elmo's 1, 2, 3 world record. No spoilers, Frownie. I know, I am the worst. I'm breaking my own rules. Alright, addition. I can handle this. He lied. We only have to get 3 questions correct to beat one of these minigames. It's not a very high bar for success. Oh, and Game and Fit had said about the other game, the moon looks genuinely concerned. If you can handle Battletoads, you won't stand a chance against Elmo. You're probably right. Hey, Christian Cool. Welcome in. Hey, Dynamite, welcome in. I wish the game asked a little bit more of me. We don't even get a very good message. It just unceremoniously ends. I mean, the rocket went off, so the story was complete, but no acknowledgement of a job well done. This is really it, by the way. There are 4 modes. There is nothing else going on. I pressed the select button, and it started the game. I'm glad I was on the right one, so I don't have to repeat something. 5 minus 1, here we go. Is the plot of the game aliens taking over Sesame Street and Elmo has to save the world using numbers? I kind of feel like Elmo is in league with the aliens. Hey Congo, welcome in. I'm ready to learn. Hope you're doing well, my friend. We're not really learning anything. The game doesn't teach us how to count, or how to add, or how to subtract. You go into the game expects you to already know how to do these things. So it's not really it's not really educational in the sense of teaching you something. It's just a test. Right? We show up on the first day. There's no lesson. It's just a test. Did anyone have this game? Did anyone have this game as their first video game? Because that's it. There's nothing else in the game. We've already conquered all 4 modes. I've only been playing this for 5 minutes. Every button. Oh no. Every button starts a new game. Is the game not randomized? Hang on. When we played the counting game before, 2 was the first. Maybe it's just coincidence. 2 was the first number. Oh no, I remember 9 as well. No! Oh my goodness, the game has no content, and it's not even randomized. It's the same questions in the same order. Oh, this is horrifically shallow content. I don't know if I've ever seen a game this lazy. Hi, bro. Dynamite says, I'm out. That was a quick one. I have legit pupophobia. Can't even tolerate seeing Muppets, marionettes, dummies of any kind. Good night. Good night, buddy. Good night, Dynamite. I'm sorry you can't hang around with us, but I would not wish you discomfort, my friend. So have a wonderful night, and hopefully I get to see you tomorrow. We're doing Echo and Contra tomorrow, both on the GBA. So hopefully I'll be able to enjoy having you around for some of that. But be well, and good luck with Abadox if you're still working on that. This is everything a video game has to offer, Jelly says. It's wonderful. I actually don't remember if 4 was the third question last time. I remember 2 and 9 because I wanted to say something about, like, we'd already exhausted the 2 extremes of the number board. So 2, 9, 4, 6. Try resetting the game and doing the same mode again. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of experimenting. 2, 9, 4, 6, 3. We're doing a couple Sesame Street games tonight, Dynamite. I've got 4 of them to go through, so it's gonna be Sesame Street for a little while at least. I don't know if we'll get through all 4, and if I'll have to do something else to fill up the night. At this rate, it's looking like I'll finish all of them, but we'll see. It tests your mind and your brain too, Jelly says. All right, let's dive immediately back into this. No wonder the moon looks concerned. Hey, Refnir, welcome in. What in the Jank's name of Jankington is this? It's our edutainment game night. I say that like tonight's stream is an event or something unusual. And really it's not. I mean, there's no reason I wouldn't play edutainment games on any other night of the year. 2, 9, 4, 6, 3, I think it was. Yeah. It's the same numbers in the same order. I can't believe it. Frownie's channel is now a Sesame Street educational game speedrun channel. I mean, I guess there are worse things that could be. Have you played Mario's Missing without a guide? I have not, Hrafnir, but I will. That was actually an option that I was considering for tonight. And if we burn through all of these Sesame Street games really quickly, that still might be on the table. But yeah, I have Mario's Missing and I have Mario's Time Machine on the Super NES, and I haven't played through either of them. So, you know, we'll do our first playthroughs together. We'll do them blind, and I don't know if I'll be able to figure out what I'm doing, but I'll sure try. Typing of the Dead, I really want to play on the stream. Game and Fit. That should not be on a jank night, though. That game is legitimately wonderful, right? Alright, let me reset this real quick. I want to see if resetting the game changes the questions like Zergling hypothesized. I wanted to play, so I have a Dreamcast, and I had Typing of the Dead. My copy of Typing of the Dead does not work anymore, though. But I got it all set up. I was gonna play it on the stream one night, like 2 years ago, but I couldn't get my disc to read. So, it's the only Dreamcast game I have. The only Dreamcast game I've ever had. I've got the Dreamcast, I got the keyboard, and I've got Typing of the Dead. Yeah, it's the same. Resetting it doesn't change the questions. Alright, well, what if I get it wrong? It just makes a noise. Sometimes it doesn't even make the noise when you get it wrong. So you don't even have to be able to count to clear the game. You just have to try every number. There's no penalty for incorrect answers. It's odd to me that this music, like, I don't know if this music is on the Sesame Street show in any capacity, but this song is in one of the NES Sesame Street games, but I think those are made by a different company, so it's very odd to me that, like, when this company got the job to make the Sesame Street games, that the music for an NES game made by another company came as part of the, like, package of stuff that they were allowed to use. I mean, maybe they weren't, because, I mean, who knows? Maybe they weren't supposed to use it and they just did, because who's gonna check? Apparently Elmo is a restaurant owner, because that one on the right looks like a cafe. That's the Elmo Cafe there on the right. Elmo, why is Elmo huge? So are they all unrandomized? I think the first answer for this was 3. I remember 3 and 7. Hang on, this one might be randomized. I don't remember picking 1 before. He's supposed to be 3, and he's taller than most of the buildings. Yeah, this game is randomized, so maybe the other one's just broken. No, I skipped the cutscene. I don't remember what the answers to this were, so I can't tell if it's asking us repeated questions or not. I was just thinking though, if it didn't randomize the questions, then speedruns of this would be very the speedrun of this would be very easy to learn. You wouldn't even have to look at what's going on. You just have to memorize like a 12-digit number. Well, probably 15. Because I think there's 3 questions in 3 of the games, and 5 questions in the first game. Imagine if this game had achievements. Alright, let's see. 7 was the first answer last time. Okay. Well, it's definitely not this time. So this game is randomized too. It's just the counting game that's not. How odd. How odd that it's like that. Achievement, adding 2 plus 5. There's no way to back out of a game once you start it. That's why we're playing through this. For a moment there, I thought I got an impossible question. I actually did the addition wrong, and I thought the answer was 10. And I was... I really wish it was. I really wish it'd given me an impossible question. That would have made my night. So I will go ahead and say I have 4 Sesame Street games to play. I don't know that they're all technically educational, so we may break the theme a bit. I know two of them are educational. 2 of them I think might not be. I've got 4 games for the Game Boy Color. They're Sesame Street 1, 2, 3, ABC, Adventures in Grouchland, and Sports. Those last 2 might not have educational components. find out together. Oh. There are 4 rocket ships in this game. I thought for a moment, so when you choose the number, the second counting game, at the end there's 2 rockets. There's a wide purple rocket and a narrow blue rocket. And I thought in the addition and subtraction games that we were powering up those same rockets, but they're reversed. The addition game has a narrow purple rocket and a wide blue rocket. Alright, I mean, I don't think there's anything else to see. I think I've exhausted this game. In the subtraction game, you're on the moon. Are we on the moon here? Why is the moon green? I don't know. I don't think there's anything else to do with this game, my friends. We've mastered all 4 game modes. I think we've seen all of its content. I can't believe how there's nothing going on in this game. I mean, I can, but... Boy, what a terrible game. What a disappointment. What a disappointment if you had this game as a kid. I can hardly think of a game that is like I can hardly think of a game that's more shallow than this. Alright, so let's move over to let's go ahead and move over to our second game. I can't think of anything else to do with this one, so we just end not with a bang, but a whimper. And we'll move on to the next one. So this should be Elmo's ABCs. I imagine the companion game probably released same day as the other. I'm curious to see how much content is recycled from the other. Oh, the opening cutscene is immediately different. I have a slight feeling this will be the exact same game, but with letters. That's kind of my thought, but I mean, already we've got unique cinematics. A equals A. This is not a math game. What are with all these math symbols? A equals A. A equals A divided by A. Cat equals cat. Blank at CA blank. Alright. Well, we've got 6 games. No rocket ship on the menu this time. This also takes place at a Ferris wheel, just like the Just like the haunted Big Bird game. I just wait for the letter to match. I? Wow, this is a slow game. Elmo's face. He is an expression of pure joy and wonder. Advanced Algebra, Cow says. It's always bugged me that a character that teaches kids speaks poor English, Conga says. I can't say that I'm familiar with how eloquent Elmo is. I feel like I barely know Elmo as a character. Like, I definitely watched Sesame Street when I was a kid, but I don't remember Elmo being like such a breakaway character until like after I had outgrown Sesame Street. Like, I feel like he was a character that was always there, but I don't remember him having like a particularly significant percentage of the spotlight. Oh my goodness, I gotta wait a long time for that letter to roll around here. Elmo not conjugate, Conga says. Someone before said Elmo's supposed to be 3 years old. I once skinned a Tickle Me Elmo to make my fiance a birthday present, Conga says. That is one of the more unusual sentences I have read in the chat. I hope the gift was well received. It was the Tickle Me Elmo craze when he shot up in popularity, Hrafnir says. One of the bits from Sesame Street that has always stuck with me is there's a segment where a guy is standing in a room that's an empty black void, and he's singing a version of the song "You Really Got a Hold on Me," but he's singing about a literal letter U that has a hold on him and won't let go. And during his performance, he is repeatedly tormented by this letter U. It's kind of terrifying in a way. But it's always stuck with me. Like, it's a bit that I'll sometimes revisit. Victory. Smokey Robinson. I could never remember if it was the actual guy or if it was just a member of the Sesame Street cast. You found it? I love, so they're in he's performing in a black void intentionally because it's brilliant, because it hides the puppeteers who are dressed all in black. And it does a really good job so far as I remember. Like, you can see them if you're looking for them, but I don't think I ever realized for the longest time how the trick was done. I have to wait for a full rotation. They did another bit that was... Did the letter change? I thought I was waiting for J. Did the target letter change? Wait a moment. I guess it didn't. I'm just, easily confused. His sleep paralysis demon is the letter U. Alright, looking for M. The mini-games in this are, like, they're not necessarily more substantial than the number games, but they're stretched out, so they seem more substantial because you have to live with them for a little longer. It spells a word. It spells primed if you read it clockwise. You had me seriously questioning myself, Cows. Oh, another bit on Sesame Street that I always liked was they would show static images, I guess, of New York City, and it would just hold on one, like, picture, but like, while it was holding on the picture, a number would appear somewhere in the scene, like rise up out of the ground or a pork bench or something, and like, and they would come up, the numbers would come up in order, so it'd just be like a picture of like a sidewalk in New York, and then like a 1 would appear, and then a 2, and then a 3, and then after every like 3 or 4 numbers, it would change to a different scene, just a different picture. And then the count would continue. I always liked when it did that segment on it was always the same pictures, so far as I remember. But I always liked when it did that segment on Sesame Street. But I always liked when it was a high number for the number of the day, because you got to see more pictures. Because if the number of the day was like 3, you wouldn't get off the first picture. So I felt robbed. But if the number of the day was like I don't know, like 27, then you get to see a whole lot. I don't know if the number of the day ever went up that high. But I was always excited. I was like, oh, it's this bit. What number are we going to count up to? I was easily amused. Frownie, can you lend your voice in a clip for me by saying something, preferably with no game music? Yeah, I could probably do that, Sparrow. If you can say the following with the finest gusto you can muster. Oh no. Let me just do a flat reading here. The Commodore 64 sound chip known as the SID. Do you want me to say SID or SID? Was one of the most advanced synthesizers of the 8-bit microcomputer era. It was the sound of a future that was. Dot dot dot. Yeah. Sid, like the name, is great. Will do. Let me, once I get out of this game, I think there's no music on the title screen, Sparrow, so I can try reading it for you there. I make no promises as to my talent as a voice actor, though. My imitation gusto may be lackluster. He's like an AI voice, you need to type it phonetically. Oh, Yaden, welcome in, by the way. Sorry to skip over you there. But very pleased to have you drop by. Hope you're doing well, and are we learning anything? Not really. I observed a moment ago that for, like, these educational games, we played a number game before, and, like, there was a counting minigame, and an addition minigame, and a subtraction minigame. Nowhere in the game did it actually teach you how to count, or how to add, or how to subtract. You just have to come to the game already prepared with that skill set. So it's not really educational. It doesn't teach you anything. It just tests what you already know. Oh, there's music here as well. Alright, well, I can mute it. Let's get into a game, and then we'll mute it while it's circling, because I'm afraid if I let it idle on that title screen, it's probably going to crash again. Hey Baron, welcome in. Thank you for the lurk. One of my favorite educational games is Sesame Street 1-2-3 on NES. We played that one. I did that one on the stream last year, Gaiden. We did 1-2-3 and ABC. 1-2-3. The thing about 1-2-3 is only one of the games was number related, right? Because the other one was a shape game. It's like, Ernie's Magic Shapes. Grover's Numbers. Yeah. Ernie with shapes. I feel like that shape game, I feel like the Ernie shape game was the best part of the night when we did those. Astro Grover and Ernie's Magic Shapes. Yeah. Alright, let me try to read this for Sparrow here. I'm copying it into the chat window so it won't scroll away from me mid-sentence. The Commodore 64's sound chip, known as the SID, was one of the most advanced synthesizers of the 8-bit microcomputer era. It was the sound of a future that was. Hopefully that was decent. If you listen back and you're not happy with it, Sparrow, just say the word and I'll do another take. Beautiful. Thanks. Thank you, Muppet Man. Thank you, Sparrow. Hopefully that works for you. Proceed 3.7 miles. Your exit will be on the right. Magnifique. Oh, I didn't even realize we were mixing. I didn't even realize we had mixed case letters here. Oh, because I think the first two weren't. It'd probably be a bad idea to have a GPS giving you directions in my voice. I imagine, with my southern drawl, that by the time I finished stating the turn you were supposed to make, you would have already passed it. That would have to get irritating after a while. So yeah, lowercase o, lowercase o. The game when we did the Sesame Street games on the NES, I think that the Ernie's Magic Shapes was the best game that we played, and I think the worst one was the pipe game. Not magnifique, mapnifique. I'm feeling a little congested. I'm sorry I can't quite clear my throat tonight. That's very good, Rafnir. I'm really... I'm really hoping... I'm really hoping that we get a different game. So far the first 3 games have been the same game. Like I said something about how these feel more substantial because they last longer, but so far the 1, 2, 3 game is winning because at least the 4 games are unique. These 3 are the exact same game. Hey, Dude Alert, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. I thought this was an NES game until I recognized the GameCube border. Yeah, it's this is a Game Boy Color game. We use the Game Boy player for those on the stream. It could have been an NES game. I used to love a Cookie Monster game on the Sega Genesis. I don't know that I played that one. So this is just copy the word? Boy, this is gonna be slow. We're spelling words now. We've stepped up. I think it was Cookie Monster. It was definitely a Sesame Street game. I've explored some Sesame Street games on the NES and now the Game Boy Color, but I haven't really looked at any on any other consoles yet. So the path that W was taking made me worried. For a moment, I thought I did something wrong. It was definitely more fun looking than this. Hopefully I'll have a chance. Hopefully it'll be in my future. I'll some night I'll look and I'll see what Sesame Street games exist on I'll look and see what exists on the Genesis. Maybe I'll be able to give it a try. Hey, Buffalo Hopscotch. Welcome in, Buffalo. I hope you're having a good day / night. Thank you. Things are all right. This game is a little tedious. I can't lie about that. But my situation is not bad. I'm having an all right time with it regardless. Hopefully you're doing well as well. See if I can find the title. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually miss Elmo's 1, 2, 3s. The world seemed to have more possibilities back in the days of Elmo's 1, 2, 3, didn't it? It feels like 1,000 years ago that we were playing that game. I just noticed the Dunce Cap Frownie classic. Thank you, Baron. I mean, really, that particular Frownie is appropriate for any night on the stream. the way that I behave is frequently deserving of that. This is like words on stream, just much worse. So, Conga, what I'm hearing is that you would not be enthusiastic for my 24-hour Elmo's ABC Game Boy Color stream. It was Sesame Street Counting Cafe, Dude Alert says. Counting Cafe. Boy, that is some choppy animation. So, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be spelling a word. What word am I spelling? Hang on. Blank EM. Mem, dim, tem. Is it him? Is that it? Like to hem a piece of clothing? What a strange word. What an antique word. Next round is petticoat. I would love to see what that does to you. It's been a long time since I've seen a man cry, Conga says. That would be pretty rough. Par? It could be ear. Look at what they've done. They've put me in a situation where there are two possible answers. They need you to know the word so that they can properly tug at the hem of your shirt, Cow says. That was my first guess, was like par for like golf, yeah. That was the first one that jumped out to me, but it probably is ear. Children are often known for their use of the word him, Buffalo says. Yeah. Well, see, that's just what I thought, was like, I mean, it's not, I said what an antique word, like, but I mean, it's not like it's an obscure word, but it's not like, I don't know, I don't think it's likely to be, if you're kind of like tapped out at 3-letter words, I don't think that's part of your lexicon. This one's got to be log. Wonder if it's multiple choice. What? Well, I haven't gotten one wrong yet. Let's see what happens when we get one wrong. Okay, it's just gone. Oh, I was sure it was Yog, Cal says. Could be Oog. back to school, Kyle says, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool. Welcome in. Alright, so this is going to be the exact same game, except we choose the last letter instead of the first. Billy Madison. I thought I had heard that before. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I used to have the Game Boy player. The Game Boy player is like the Game Boy player never leaves my GameCube. My GameCube is a dedicated Game Boy player. I mean, there are plenty of fine GameCube games, but I use the Wii to play those, so I play a lot of Game Boy games. So the Game Boy player is immensely valuable for me. I wish there was a way to speed up the rotation of this wheel. Wish I would have kept my GameCube in the Game Boy player, Doodalert says. It's very, it's been very good to me. I'm very lucky to have it and to have held on to it. So I use it quite a bit. I use a Nintendo 64 controller for my controller though. I've got an adapter. It lets me plug this into the GameCube because I find the D-pad and the button layout, if you just ignore the middle prong, and just focus on these, then it makes for a really good Game Boy controller. Alright, well I think that's it, my friends. I guess we should play another round to see if you always get the same words. You do not. I did not. I'm pretty sure I would recall the word mug. I sold my GameCube and everything with it for $50 18 years ago, Doodalert says. I'm kind of lucky that I've never been inclined to sell off or trade my video game stuff, so I've held on to most of my collection, and I've just been lucky to never be in a situation where I've had to do it, because I've been like strapped for cash or had anything lost or stolen over time. My home was burglarized once, but they didn't take any of my retro stuff. They only took the new stuff. Thank goodness. I just thought I wouldn't play it again. I mean, it sort of depends, because like for a lot of people, it kind of makes sense to offload older games. But I don't know, my interests, my gaming interests just never really progressed past a certain point, I guess. I mean, I play some new stuff, but it doesn't grab my attention nearly as often. All right, I think we can call this game done. As much as I didn't think I was gonna say it, I like the number game better. The letter game started off with like the promise of more content, but I was fooled. I was sold a false bill of goods, because I thought this game was gonna be more substantial. And then it just turned out to be the same game 6 times in a row. They didn't even give us like new like scenery. We got a credit roll? Did we get credits in the other game? I don't recall that. I mean, I didn't do anything to earn it. It just happened for... Elmo says thanks for playing. Well, thank you, Elmo. I always had to hand out my consoles to my sister, who somehow managed to break them each time, Stream Kyle says. That's a bit frustrating. I mean, I get handing stuff down and sharing stuff with your siblings, but to have them just end up breaking those things is very frustrating. I've kind of gotten bored with new stuff, Dude Alert says. Yeah, it's hard to sort of generalize, but it's just, as like games have progressed, a lot of like, I feel like a lot of what's offered in so far as like, you know, like the big sort of like mainstream games, they involve a lot of watching and a lot of downtime. They're too overwhelmingly huge and too not focused on gameplay to grab my interest a lot of times. They ran out of effort for the rest of the game, Cow says. I get frustrated with a lot of new games, Buffalo says, because they're so storyline driven. When I have like just 50 to 60 minutes to play a game, I don't want to sit there through cutscenes and dialogue branches. So Retro lets you get right in and play. Yeah. Yeah. Anytime I get, like, the gameplay gets pulled away from me in a game, I don't have a lot of patience for that. So anything where you have to do a lot of watching or a lot of reading is typically gonna put me in a not particularly happy mood. I like some new ones, Doom Eternal and Fallout 4. Doolert gives some examples, but haven't played them in a long time. I haven't gotten around to either of those. All right, my friends, let's switch games again. So I've got Adventures in Grouchland, and I've got Sesame Street Sports. I think the sports game is going to be the worst of the two, so I think we should play that one first. I don't know. I don't know anything about either of them. I'm just hoping that the Adventures in Grouchland game is a platformer. Hey, thank you for the hydrate. Could definitely use that. Same company. Oh boy, it's the same company. Hey, Baron, thank you for the pistachios. We can enjoy some of those too. There is music. It's so quiet. Why is the game so quiet? Oh, joy, Cow says. I mean, again, like, I think that this is the same company that made those E.T. games on the Game Boy Color. And those are pretty substantial games. So they can make something with content. Well, I've got to turn the volume up. If I forget and go into the menu, I'm going to ruin our ears. Buffalo says, one thing I love about Half-Life 2, there's a story, but it never feels like it's pulling you out of the game to tell the story. That sort of thing I don't mind. So I haven't played any of the Half-Life games, but yeah, I don't mind. Like, I'm happy to have a bit of story in game. I prefer for it to be brief and witty. But, like, it's not a bad thing for a game to have story. I just don't want it to ever happen at the expense of the gameplay. Which it seems to do quite frequently. Grover looks very skull-like to me. Alright, we've got Ernie, Telly, Cookie Monster, Elmo, Zoe, and Grover. We choose a character before we choose a sport? I mean, Elmo's kind of been the theme of the night. I'm gonna pick Elmo. Alright, we have move and jump. Oh, I'm supposed to collect the music notes. And I'm on the clock. Wow, this is floaty. That building in the background say TikTok? And there's a bread shop? I don't know if I can collect these. I can. Well, look, I can just sit here and farm music notes all day. If the goal is to collect music notes, like, why would I not just stay here forever? That really, like, finish. $34 music notes and a minute 22, but I don't know which of these metrics I'm supposed to care about. Is my objective a high note score or a low time? And what is the context for what is a good performance? Very confused. I'm pretty sure it's just a worse version of Sesame Street Sports on the PlayStation 1. I haven't played that one I don't have a point of reference there. Grover's been dealing with some stuff, Konga says. He looks rough. Is this a street or the moon? I'm Googling. They did make the E.T. games on the Game Boy Color. Yeah. Escape from Planet Earth and Cosmic Garden. They probably also made the digital companion then, too. Escape from Planet Earth and Cosmic Garden are... If you're gonna play an E.T. game, Escape from Planet Earth is the one to play. It's the best E.T. game. But Cosmic Garden is my favorite E.T. game. But it's a hard one to recommend because it's very repetitive and very tedious. But when I figured out how the game worked, I like the Cosmic Garden better just because of my personal experience with it. I had a moment of discovery where I figured out how the game worked, and it brought me a lot of joy. So I'm guessing every character then is a different sport. I'm gonna do this one more time. I'm gonna go for sub 1 minute. Not gonna worry too much about the music notes. I mean, I'll get them if they're convenient. I mean, sub 1 minute should be easy since I spent like an hour farming music notes from the guy with the music box, but I don't know. I'll feel like we really tried. Beautiful. Speed running. I guess you just have to choose what you care about. Like, do you want the high note score or do you want the low time? We might come back to this game. Alright, let's see what Zoe has. Is this a big wheel? We can jump here to... It's the same game. Don't let it fool you. It's aesthetically different, but it's the same game. It's got the identical controls. I don't know if those butterflies are a collectible or an enemy. Or neither. I think they're neither. I think they're just decorative. I'm gonna keep trying to jump into one, but... I guess... I don't know how I can have just... I don't know how I could have just finished the Sesame Street letter game and then be surprised that this is just 6 versions of the same game. Like, that's literally what the previous game was. Wild flips, Cal says. Sounds like Frownie's gonna report this game to Consumer Affairs. I think the butterflies are just there. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they just it's purely decorative. Yeah. I thought we... Wow, look at that flip. A and B are both jump. The two, there might as well only be one button. They're identical. Another flip? I don't know how I'm doing the flips. It seems to just be something that happens. I think if you just get enough altitude, it automatically flips. Yeah. Well, that's kind of cool. I don't think anyone in the history of the planet has ever done a flip, has ever done a mid-air flip on a big wheel. I'm just picturing an exasperated Frownie yelling to kids, "It's the same game, wake up!" Don't fall for their tricks. Open your eyes and realize it's always the same game. It's a different game. No, it's not. No, it's not. I was fooled. I thought Grover was holding some sort of sports ball. I didn't recognize that he was holding a unicycle. Bamboozled. I like this. Sharky's place. I like this, riding a unicycle down the boardwalk. Collecting blue balloons. You could make a whole game out of this. Okay, what happens if we hit the seal? Oh, you bounce! Frownie's entering his tinfoil hat arc. I like you actually have to use the seals to get the wow, we got some real air there. To get some of the balloons, you have to bounce off the seals. I like that. Like that has promise. Does anyone remember in the game Ayo the Clown? Was there ever a unicycle riding portion of that game? Did we steal that guy's balloons? That guy in the background had a bunch of balloons. I think we took them. Alright, well so far Grover's unicycle is the best part of this game. I like using the high bounces to collect the balloons. This was the most fun I've had thus far. A Cookie Monster rolls around on an exercise ball. I mean, it's not even rolling, we're just kind of bouncing. It's like a beanbag. Hot dogs for only $1? That's a good deal. Whoa! The fountain provides massive air. Oh, we're actually collecting cookies. That's on brand. Whoa, is that a hot dog for 50 cents? All these other stands are gonna go out of business. I think we discovered everything there is to discover here. Those people in the background look like statues. I haven't paid attention to whether or not the stages have unique music. No. Oh, my time is... Wow, you really get up there. What's he doing? I got stuck in a weird drag animation. That was odd. That bounce is actually not beneficial. Wait a minute, what is this? This is not a hot dog stand? Well, it is, but it's like crunched. I don't know what to make of that. It's like the background was like poorly stitched together there. 50 cents is a bargain. Space is folding in on itself. The game has a dark subplot. Is this the best level? I missed one of the purple Doritos. Is this an obstacle? It is. Alright, let's see if I can get all 10 Doritos. The animation is so slow and choppy, I was worried that I thought the ski lift was creating slowdown. This must be a fun game to speedrun. Perfect score. Let's go. He's doing flips. I mean, it's hardly a sport if you don't do flips. Alright, well, already, Ernie is sailing in his bathtub. We better be collecting rubber ducks. We're not. What is that we're collecting? I don't even know what that is. How are you gonna have an Ernie game? Remember the bathtub and forget the rubber duck. Oh, we are collecting rubber ducks. We are. I take it back. I just couldn't understand the sprite. It is a rubber duck. I didn't know what I thought it was. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just couldn't understand the sprite. I couldn't see it. I see it now. It is a rubber duck. I retract all my criticisms. I just thought ducks must be different where you come from. Hey, Buddha Fingers, welcome in. That part right there is tricky. We did all the other ones twice, so even though I don't think there's really a point, but do this one a second time as well. I don't know if we can do a flip on the bathtub. Doesn't look like it. I'm trying to get some air and see if it will do one, but... Alright, I mean, I think that's it, my friends. We've done all 6. I don't know what else there is to do. Select doesn't do anything. Start doesn't do anything. Hang on, let me reset the game. I actually remembered to kill the audio before I open the menu too, so I didn't destroy our ears. Can you believe it? Where would you rank the levels in this game, worst to best? Let me take another look, and we'll do that. Create our ultimate Sesame Street sports level tier list. I think I missed the title screen before. I'm resetting it just to make sure that I didn't overlook any like options or anything. Sesame Street Sports. Alright, so let's see. Levels from best to worst. Grover level has to be the best level. It has the most exciting gameplay. I like the bouncing off of the seals. Second place, Cookie Monster. Again, like bouncing off the fountains, getting that air, very exciting. Third place, I'm gonna say Telly's level, the snowy aesthetic. Gives it a lot of bonus points there, so I would rank that one third. Fourth place, probably Ernie, very substantial, a lot of collectibles in this level. Fifth place, Zoe, pretty straightforward and dull level, but you do have those wild backflips, so that's a redeeming quality. And Elmo, worst level. Not thrilling. There's a lot of muddled confusion with the infinite music note generator that kind of trivializes the collectibles. So, last place for that one. That is the definitive ranking. That's it, my friends. We've finished yet another game. I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't expect to be through 3 games already tonight. This game, like, this is the most fun game that we played. I mean, it's actually, like, feels like a game. It has very little content, so, like, you can't... There's nothing to do, but at least it's a game, right? IGN, take notes. Thank you for the trophy cows. So, last one. Let's, our last Sesame Street game. If it's just like these, yeah, we might have to play a Mario game tonight as well. I don't know. I think our last one, The Adventures in Grouchland, I feel like that's probably a very substantial game compared to the others. But who knows? Without further ado, let's see. Take the volume back down. Same company. They can make a substantial game. Both those ET games that we were talking about before, like the Escape from Planet Earth and the Cosmic Garden, those are both very substantial games. Like, nothing we played so far tonight is like a real game. Again, where is the volume? No opening cutscene. And what are these options for our music? Difficulty, easy or hard? We'll just stick with the default. It is Elmo and his best friend Blanket. Elmo loves his blanket more than... Oh my goodness. He loves his blanket more than anything? This is not... This is supposed to be educational. Young Street, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Welcome to Sesame Street presents Broken Grammar. Very happy to have you here. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for joining us. How was your night? You're playing The Simpsons? Is that were you playing the arcade game? You were? Nice. That's I want to give that one a go sometime. It was released on the Commodore 64, but I haven't been able to get a copy to work on the C64 Mini. There are people out there that don't know what that is. We have a double raid. The welcome in Yusuf. We just had Young Street raid in mere seconds ago, and now Yusuf is here as well. Welcome in. Welcome to this is Elmo's Adventures in Grouchland. We're just getting started. I was losing my mind over some bad grammar. The game begins with bad grammar. Unfortunately, it's not here. It mixes up then and than. What were you up to? More Kingdom Hearts, right on. Hopefully you had a great time tonight. They put the bad grammar in as a test. Oh, I see. Little Terror, welcome in. Thank you for joining us. Very pleased to have you with us. Hopefully you are doing well. So this is our fourth Sesame Street game tonight. Our fourth and final Sesame Street game. So we might actually have to play some non-Sesame Street games tonight as well, because the night is very young and I'm burning through content. So if this game proves to be as insubstantial as the others, then I think we're also going to play Mario is Missing and keep with the edutainment theme. Yusuf says, ran into a horribly tough fight. Needed to stop and take a break. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts, but I've definitely been there with games. I've I can respect the wisdom in stepping away for a while. Hopefully you'll regroup, and when you come back to it, you know, it'll unlock, and you'll sail through with no problems next time. Hey, DeZombie, welcome in. I just got here, already scared by seeing Elmo. You're right to be afraid. The games are terrifyingly dubious tonight. Elmo's Number Journey on PlayStation 1 next. I hated Mario is Missing. I've never played through that game. I don't expect good things. I would gladly play some PlayStation 1 Sesame Street games. I just don't have any. All I've got is the Game Boy Color ones for us to do tonight. Alright, let's press a button. So we have to reclaim our missing blanket, is the plot. Stage 1, Sesame Street. Alright. Very floaty jumps. B button does nothing. I mean, it's just catch it. I mean, this seems virtually identical to the sports game we just played. I mean, I know we're not riding a unicycle or anything, but Journey to Grouchland is inside. Grouchland is inside the trash can because that's where Oscar lives. What is going on? Is this star collectible or damaging? That is collectible. That is points. Why are there so many multicolored elephants in the... Like, I get why there's a fish skeleton and a blimp. What is... Why are these things in the trash? Oh, these people are going to regret throwing out all these CRTs. The fish skeleton is the only thing that belongs in here. Mario's Missing on the PC is actually a really good educational game with a great soundtrack. Consoles, not so much, Konga says. I didn't know that was a PC game. I have never seen the PC version. I've only know it as a NES and Super NES game, though I haven't really played either. I did try out the Super NES version once when I was a kid. I think I rented it. I don't remember anything about playing it, though. I was right about being scared. Oh no, I'm losing health. Oh, the star is restore. That's our health bar up there. I guess the hearts are a number of lives. Hey, we made it to the bottom. Foggy Grouchland. What is Cookie Monster putting in those cookies, Konga asks? This is a fever dream, Cow says. It really is. If I found a rainbow elephant, I would adopt it, the zombie says. I mean, I think that's the best move. We're going to Oz. Welcome to Trashland. Wait. I've got a weapon? I've got a fan? Is it a fan for blowing away the fog? Hey, Defiant Salem, welcome in. I cannot explain anything that's happening in this game. Foggy Grouchland is a Willie Nelson song. That's the whole level. Oh, this might be a boss. I don't know who Huxley is. I've never heard of this character. We just have to fire water at this guy's helicopter? Is he... So he has our blanket? He's holding our blanket hostage? He's taunting us with it? Alright, every time we hit him, the blanket's gonna drop a little lower, and we're gonna be able to get it, I think. Oh, there it goes. Mind games. Funnily enough, pink elephants are a recurring fever dream of mine, Cal says. You literally see pink elephants? I know that's a common, trope where characters will see a pink elephant when they enjoy an adult beverage in a cartoon. It's a minecart level? We can go forward and we can duck. I know this looks terrible in the capture. It's not just the capture. The animation really is this choppy. The Game Boy Color cannot handle all of this gameplay. I can't duck anymore. Oh no. What happened? I used up all my duck? I don't know what went wrong. When I have, crazy high fevers, pink elephants, Cal says. That's kind of amazing. I don't know why he keeps popping back up. This is very confusing. Can I jump over this thing and get through the level without it? Nope. This is 1% as fast as Taz. Donkey Kong Kart level? I wish. Minecart level. Now this is gaming, Cow says. This is making me miss the horse game, Circling says. 4 frames per second. Cows scare elephants. That's why they're important. Is it a stroller? I guess it is. What? Oh, I hit that lamp. I thought that lamp was in the background. I thought we were at the end. This is shockingly difficult. What is Mario? This is a true video game. This game is teaching kids a very powerful lesson. That video games aren't fun and are a waste of time. Don't play them. That's the education that's happening. This is, I mean, this is not terrible. Jumping in the dump. Wow. Wow, what a level. What is Mario? This is a true video game. Thanks, Frownie. Your voice is fitting in absolutely perfectly. Thank you, Sparrow. Very much appreciated. Glad I can be of service. You're made of fabric. How vulnerable are you, really? Only you could call this game not terrible, Frownie, Zergling says. I mean, this is more fun than Echo the Dolphin. Frownie has an extensive basis of comparison. I mean, this is like, you know, I'd said before I was hoping this game would be a platformer, and I mean, we've got what I got what I wanted, so I mean, I'm pretty happy. It's hard to say if this is a better or worse game than the exit's right there. This level's a freebie level. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything that can hurt us. Never mind. Those are pits. There absolutely is something that can hurt us. Oh. Flowers, bugs, and bugs. More fun than Echo. You know what's better? E.T. You think E.T. on the Atari is better than this? People stand up for E.T. on the Atari a lot. Like, it's one of those where, like, it's a terrible game, but, like, a lot of people defend it, and yeah, it's not as terrible, I guess, as its reputation, but it's not fun. It's not good. It's very frustrating. It's got a 6-minute gameplay loop, and it took me 12 hours to beat it. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm just uniquely terrible, but I had a bad time with that game. There's so much worse games, worse Atari games than E.T. Huxley's house. Oh, boss fight again. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a bad Atari game. I've never played that game. I know you have to use 2 controllers to play it. That's, just about the only thing I really know about the game, though. Congratulations! Elmo and his blanket are together. Yeah, victory. I think we beat the game. Why is the title screen so loud? Oh, it's not the title. It's the finale. Why is it so loud? Oh my goodness. That probably didn't seem like much on your end, like, but it was really loud for me. Hey, thank you for the trophies. Stirring victory march. I like how Elmo runs like a little red zombie. He does. The only thing about this was the minecart part. And that ending screen was loud. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Alright. Well, I mean, we beat the game. Do we dare? Do we dare and explore hard mode? I think we do. Can I get off of this screen? The music went all quiet. I feel like we have to, Cal says. Yeah, I think we do. I think we... How much more difficult could it possibly be, right? Alright, so hard mode. Here we come. It is Elmo and his best friend Blanket. Elmo loves his... I want to read this because I missed some of it. Blanket more than anything. Oh no, Blanket is gone. Blanket is not gone. Blanket is right there. Elmo will do anything to get his blanket back. Please help Elmo. Press any button to start. Alright, let's go. The game has just become, like, generically more louder. Like, across the board, it is now louder than it was before. Oh, we can push that block into the hole. I did not know that. I mean, so far it seems basically identical. I miss the days when blanky life was my biggest daily concern, Ravnir says. I thought that maybe I could just hang out to one side and not worry about any of the obstacles. Clearly I was mistaken. You do actually have to play the game. Ooh, threading the needle. We've got all our health back now. Yeah, the blanket is in his hand. The only reason this game lasted more than 5 minutes is because it runs so slow. The game was making sure making sure the class is still paying attention. StatCat says. If I run backward, does the blanket come back to me? I don't know. I don't think it does. I think once it advances, it stays advanced. For loving his blanket so much, he sure let it go into the trash easily. So far the only difference I'm noticing between easy and hard mode is I think they reduced the number of extra life hearts that appear. Otherwise, it seems to be really similar. Hey Persephone, welcome in. We can flip the face cam. Thank you for that. Thank you for the other things, Game and Fit. You have a favorite Sesame Street character, Game and Fit says. I'd say mine is probably the Count. That's a good question. Who would be my favorite Sesame Street character? I don't know, probably Snuffleupagus. He's got the best name. We are flip vertical. Finish off this bottle of water. Gotta go, the zombie says. Well, thank you for dropping in. It's good to have you with us for a while. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or night. And hopefully we'll see you again soon. Alright, stretching time. Snuffleupagus for me, Defiant Salem says. I think we're in agreement. To be honest though, I don't really remember much of Snuffy's personality. I'm gonna try Ocarina with an N64 controller. That's the way it's meant to be done. Frownie's doing a handstand, Sparrow says. Alright. Back to it. I can't for the life of me get Link to go straight with this controller. Not even sure I'm holding the thing correctly. Maybe you've got to reset the joystick. The timing for this is kind of difficult, but there appears to be no threat. The timing for this is not difficult. I was wrong. You just have to fire when it's directly above you. And the timing will work out. It's nothing that complicated, I just can't hold the controller straight. Fingers crossed for this minecart level. So, like, you push right on the D-pad to move the minecart ahead quickly, and you hold B to duck. But for some reason, when you get to the end of the stage, the duck wears off. You see what, like, he's standing up. I'm still holding the B button. I don't know why he was standing up. Very odd. Very odd game. So I thought the number of extra life hearts had been reduced, but I think I'm wrong. I see no discernible difference between easy and hard mode in this game. Maybe that boss took more damage? That was different. I never saw a block fall from the sky. Never mind. The modes are completely different. It's virtually it's basically a whole new game. What in the world? The exit's in a different place. Oh my goodness, I fell down the tubes. Don't listen to me. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Hey, Bort Jams, welcome in. Salem says, if we're talking about the Muppet, Swedish Chef, Kermit, Sam the Eagle, Roth, Sweetums, Animal, Floyd, Pepe, and Janice. Favorite Muppets? I've always been partial to the Fraggles. Fraggle Rock is S tier for me. I love Fraggle Rock, Salem says. Right on. Dance your cares away. Hey, Chompy, welcome in. Always great to see you. Is this a Metroidvania? No, it's just a platformer, just a regular platformer, which kind of breaks the educational game theme that I'm supposed to be following. But you know, I suspected that based on the title that this would not be an educational game, but it's got Sesame Street in the title, so we had to do it, and I'm glad we did. I've never heard of Fraggle Rock, Game and Fit says. You are missing out. Fraggle Rock is fantastic. We never had, like, we didn't have cable or satellite or whatever, but my grandfather did, and he would record, he'd record shows for me on the tape when I was a child, and, Victory. A lot of those tapes had episodes of Fraggle Rock. So I don't think I haven't seen every episode of the series. I should, because I actually own them. I have the whole series on DVD, but I haven't sat down to actually sit through every single episode yet. But I've seen a huge portion of them. I legitimately don't trust anyone who doesn't like Fraggle Rock, Yusuf says. Seeing the BTS stuff that Adam Savage did on YouTube with them is so cool. Behind the scenes. For the Muppets or the Fraggles? I'm gonna have to check that out. If that's the case. My dog had 6 puppies, Port Jam says. One of them had a nightmare, so he's with me now. Hopefully you can help him get past that nightmare. I'm watching a long play of a PlayStation 1 Japan-only game called Mizuma Falls. It's given a fan overhaul. It's pretty impressive for the PlayStation 1 era. Fully 3D, open world, car driving, fighting mechanics. Quite a bit of dialogue, though, Game & Fit says. Sounds impressive. I haven't heard of this one before, though. Zergling says, my idea of taking good care of the hamster, only dumping pepper on his head instead of ghost pepper powder when he's being bad. That sounds pretty terrible. Blow up rocks with frag grenades. It was weird how Elmo specifically had a renaissance in the late 90s, early aughts, Chompy says. I was saying that. I was saying before that, like, I definitely watched Sesame Street as a child, but I was saying I didn't remember Elmo being such a significant player. Like, because at some point after I had outgrown Sesame Street, it seemed like, yeah, like Elmo became the breakout star. He had his own spin-off show, really? Elmo's World. I feel like I feel like I know the theme song to Elmo's World, but I thought that was just a segment of on Sesame Street. I didn't think it was its own. I don't think I knew it was its own show. I have a vivid memory of seeing an Elmo movie in theaters, and Tickle Me Elmo was huge. Was the Elmo movie Adventure in Grouchland, like the game? And yeah, Tickle Me Elmo was like, that was like as big as the Furby, right? La 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 la. Elmo's World, Cow says. I don't think I could. I can I can almost hear the melody, but I don't think I could sing it. Well, this is the best game. You know, I would rank of the 4 Sesame Street games on Game Boy Color. We've been through all of them now. Elmo and Grouchland, best game. Platformer, not terribly frustrating. It's decent. I'm happy I played it. Sesame Street Sports would be the runner-up. Game, again, inoffensive. Really, sports is a misnomer. It's just another platformer. It doesn't really have a through line to it, so it's weaker than this game, but easily second best. Elmo's 1, 2, 3 coming in at third place for the variety of experience that it offers you. And Elmo's ABC's easily last place. False promises of more expansive content, and then all you get is just the exact same game 6 times in a row. So we now know what the official ranking of the Sesame Street Game Boy Color titles is. There might be more. I only found the ones that have Sesame Street like as the primary title. So if there are games like named for specific Sesame Street characters, then we could open up this box again later on. Like, I don't know that there's not like a Big Bird Game Boy Color game or a Cookie Monster Game Boy Color game. I woke up early every morning so I could watch that show before school. Cal says, so you were there, Cows. You were on the ground floor of the. Did the game crashed again? I don't think that's a product of the game. I think that's probably an issue with the flash cart. Is that if the game idles for too long, then it crashes. That's unfortunate. Um. Oh, but Cows, you were right. You were there. You were on the ground floor for the Elmo Renaissance. It was, I believe. I saw it with my grandma and was definitely too old for it, but I remember it being okay. I missed out on that one. Would you say you could count on that first Elmo game? I could count on it to be the third best. I guess it is the kind of the only one you can count on, though. Cookie Monster's top tier, Game and Fit says. Salem's got a list of Muppet shows. Sam and Friends, I don't think I ever heard of. Muppet Show I've seen a bit of. Probably Muppet Babies is probably the, like, when it comes to Muppet TV shows, Muppet Babies is probably the one that I know the best. We had the Great Muppet Caper on VHS. So that's probably the Muppet property that I am most familiar with. Is probably the Great Muppet Caper, and the original Muppet movie I've seen several times, so that's probably the runner up. But definitely the Great Muppet Caper is like the movie that I've seen the most from the Muppets. You're asking if cows can count. All right, let me see. I think I've been upside down long enough. Let's return to normal. We're out of Sesame Street games. The Game Boy Color, I've exhausted all the games that I prepared. So we're gonna have to go over to the Super Nintendo. I guess I'm gonna have to play Mario is Missing. That's the other thing that was the other possibility for tonight that I thought we might do. I landed on these games, and look, they didn't take up the whole time. So we've got, I mean, the night is very young. So I guess we're going to try to play Mario is Missing. I'm kind of dreading this. I think it's going to be a rough time. We'll have fun with it, I'm sure. I can count, but I can't spell at all, Cal says. Thank you for the wheels, Ergling. We can give that a spin, too. Jelly beans. All right. Jelly beans is, like, kind of weird. Because, like, my wife is Jelly, and my cat is Beans. So, like, I think about that every time I land on the jelly beans. Apparently there's a computer version of that Elmo game, too, which sounds more educational. Jelly and beans, how cute, Cal says. Oh, yeah, Muppet Christmas Carol. Hey, I'm with you on that one, Salem. I love the Muppet Christmas Carol. I forgot about that when I was talking about the other movies just now, but yeah, that movie is just wonderful. All right, we landed on sriracha. I think that's like the supposed to be the mildest bean. What does that bean look like? I think it's just the solid red one. I think this is it. Sriracha bean. Let's go. For a moment, it's got a little spice. For a moment, I thought it was going to have absolutely no spice. It's got a little. It's pretty weak, though. I still owe you a free spin on my flame wheel, Frownie. Rafnir says, I'm gonna have to I need to catch you live sometime so that I can cash that in. All right, so that was a very mild land of the wheel. I escaped that one very neatly. Concepts include sharing and friendship, problem solving, and spatial relationships. Well, I mean, I arguably you could say that the Elmo and Grouchland that we just played, you could argue that being a platformer develops concepts of spatial relationships, right? Because like you have to position Elmo in regard to the enemies and platforms. So it's harder to make. I mean, you could argue for problem solving as well because you have to use the fan to move the gas clouds out of your way. But I suspect that you are right that they are not the same game. I'm back. Welcome back, Muppet Man. How's Elmo in 2099 going? We're finished with Elmo. I beat the I we've done all four of the Sesame Street games. The last one, the Elmo and Grouchland, we beat it twice. We did it on easy mode and hard mode. So yeah, we're actually finished with all those. We're gonna go to the Super NES and we're gonna play Mario is Missing. That's uh that's gonna be the next thing for tonight. I'm just kind of stalling at the moment. I think I'm gonna take a BRB and fill my coffee back up while I'm getting the console switched. So I'll let everyone. You can listen to a song while I'm gone. Should just be like 4 or 5 minutes. I'm gonna stretch my legs, get my coffee, move us over to the Super NES, and yeah, Mario's Missing coming up. Thank you for sitting through these Sesame Street games with me. They weren't bad. They're not great games, but they're not terrible. They're disappointing. Like if it's a game that you received like as a kid, it'd be horribly disappointing. But they're not frustrating to pick up and play through. So, and not being not frustrating goes a long way for me. If a game could just be not frustrating, it gets a lot of points. Uh, all right, my friends. I'll see you again in just a moment.